If you've ever had a friend that you've wanted to introduce to MMA, but you're worried that when they come over, they're going to watch a boring snooze fest, two guys clinching up against the cage, kneeing each other to the thigh, or just a wet blanket grapple fest, this is the fight that you're going to want to invite them over to see, because Jiri Prochazka and Jamal Hill is being targeted for August, and this has potential to be the greatest fight in combat sports history from an entertainment standpoint, and it is the best stylistic matchup the UFC can put on right now. So again, if you have a friend or a family member that you want to introduce to the sport and you want to show them a fight that is without a doubt going to deliver, invite them for Jiri Prochazka and Jamal Hill. If you have a family member that's skeptical about the brutality of combat sports and you want to show them like a high-level chess match that's a clean fight, don't invite them to watch this one. It's going to be brutal. These guys are far too gritty. They have way too much heart to quit and to wilt with an early sign of damage. It can either end in a brutal, vicious KO, or it goes 5 rounds and will go down as the best fight in UFC history. I have no doubt in my mind. You'd actually have to take a real banana peel and throw it into the octagon, not the imaginary one that I had mentioned for Bilal Muhammad and Gilbert Burns, but I'm saying like a real live banana peel is the only thing that can get in the way of this fight delivering. I don't know who to lean to in this fight as far as who's going to win, because it's a 50-50 bout if there ever was one. Now, of course, I'll watch more tape on these guys as the date gets closer to really get a better perspective on who I think is going to win. But again, these guys have dynamite in their hands. They're tough as nails. They have like extremely bulletproof mentalities. Jiri Prochazka, he has the energy of a guy that is just being taken on through life with a holy martial arts spirit that just won't let him lose. He has that kind of energy to the where no matter how hurt he gets in a fight like he was against Glover Teixeira in the 5th round, he'll just find a way to win. It's like there's some holy martial arts spirit making Jiri win every single fight. I honestly get the vibe that he is blessed by the MMA gods. As weird as that sounds, but Jamal Hill, again, is just an extremely good striker, very dangerous, high output. He's keen to scrap. He's going to go to war, and he has a great chance to knock Jiri out as well and to win a decision. So I have no idea. Yuri's a different kind of cat. Some people still think that he's the light heavyweight champion of the world because he never lost the belt. He just gave it away. He is one of the only guys that truly, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't give a fuck about the money and the business. He's all about the martial arts and the code, the samurai spirit. And he knows that, dude, I don't care if I have the belt. Like, I'm going to get it back. And if I can't get the belt back, if I can't beat a number 1 contender to then get my title shot, I don't deserve to be the champion in the first place. That's the kind of mindset that Jiri has. And you have to love that. Both of these guys are going to have a lot of respect for each other. But I already hear some chirping from Jamal Hill, which is great because he really thinks he's going to make easy work of Jiri Prochazka. He thinks he's going to get out of there unscathed. Well, maybe not unscathed, but he's saying he's going to make Jiri look foolish, and he's going to be laughing to the bank after because he believes he'll be able to knock Jiri out early.
You know, I was just watching his fights the other day. He's not that guy like you think. I can't wait to get him in there. I truly can't wait to get him in there so they can really see what it's like. Like, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be funny, bro. It's gonna be funny. I'm gonna beat the dog shit out that man.
Because of his skill, he's a little bit more technical than Jiri, but Jiri just drags people into a 50-50 fight. He'll get in your face right away, and if you're a striker, you can't really do anything other than go to war with him. And he's willing to take shitloads of damage. Now, one thing I will note is that Jiri Prochazka, after the Glover Teixeira fight, and even after the Dominic Reyes fight, said that he was really disappointed in himself. And he is a pretty well-aware guy. He knows that he's taking a lot of damage in these fights, but he was saying, I don't want to fight like this. I understand that these are great fights and the fans love it, but this is not my goal. I want to have a clean performance. But until he shows us that, I'm not going to bet on that happening, because I guarantee you, as soon as he gets clipped by Jamal Hill, and what if he gets rocked, bro? If he gets rocked, he'll just resort to who he is. And that's an absolute demon in the cage, bro. Same thing with Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill's going in, I'm going to make this look clean. I'm going to make this look easy. Jiri Prochazka hits him with a brutal spinning elbow, and that all goes out the window. Now you're scrapping. So I'm literally just in shock because this matchup is being made and it's going to be fucking amazing. I don't think this needs a stacked co-main event either. Like the UFC wants to put on O'Malley and Sterling on the August card too. They want to make that in Boston. But I have a feeling that Sterling's going to hold out a little bit more. Now, he did say, Aljamain Sterling, that is, he said this to Ariel Helwani actually yesterday, that he wants to stay active. And that even though a lot of us are saying the UFC is trying to pressure him into fighting right now, he is willing to fight pretty early. But he'll probably not fight in August. He'll probably want to fight in September. And I don't care because this can stand on its own 2 feet. Jamal Hill and Jiri Prochazka is such a good fight. It doesn't really matter what the co-main event is. As long as the UFC puts on good matchups that are going to be entertaining, that's all that matters. Because at the end of the day, you're going to get the best fight of the year if this goes the distance. And you're going to get a early KO if that doesn't happen. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't give a fuck about how great the card is underneath this as of right now, especially, as I said, with name value. I am leaning towards Yuri slightly right now, just because he has a little bit more power in his hands. Now, to be fair, he hasn't fought someone as good as Jamal Hill on the feet, but you could kind of say the same thing for Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill hasn't fought anyone like Jiri Prochazka. Now, I know he's fought Johnny Walker, who's very dangerous, a big power puncher, but come on, guys. We're talking about Johnny Walker. The guy is a glass cannon. He doesn't have a great chin. You could also bring up the fact that he beat Thiago Santos, but this was old man post John Jones, Thiago Santos. He was just never the same. And this was like Thiago's last UFC fight ever. And it's not like he just completely blew through him, right? He finished him in the later rounds, but he didn't just flatline KO him. Jiri Prochazka has flatline KO'd like most of his opponents that he's finished. You know what I mean? Like just brutal, out cold knockouts. And the only time we've seen that from Jamal Hill is, again, glass chin, Johnny Walker, and Jimmy Crute, who is the worst striker in the UFC right now. It's not like Yuri's getting wins over the best fighters on the planet. Like, he did beat Glover Teixeira, and I actually think his win over Glover is a little bit better in the sense that he took on Glover before Glover had gone through an absolute war. Glover was bouncing off of winning the belt against Jan. He was relatively unscathed in that fight. If anything, that was the best version of Glover. Whereas Jamal Hill fought Glover Teixeira after he had went 5 rounds with Jiri Prochazka and got finished. You know what I mean? Like, this was a very damaged Glover, and the fight that Glover had with Yuri is a career-altering fight. The reason why I don't think that'll affect Yuri as much is because, I mean, he's still young. He can go through a war like that and still bounce back, but maybe not. Maybe the first punch Jamal Hill lands just puts Yuri out, and maybe Yuri just can't take that much punishment at this point because he has taken a lot. I mean, he almost got KO'd by Glover Teixeira in their fight, and the only reason he didn't is because Glover pulled a guillotine. He pulled guard, pulled the guillotine in the 5th round after rocking Jiri Prochazka. But if you watch that moment back, like, he is right sitting there waiting to get KO'd. He was in really bad shape there. I mean, we saw Israel Adesanya get put out by Alex Pereira in the UFC last November where he was slumped over. Yuri was 10 times worse. Like, Glover lands a couple more shots and Yuri is slumped over and out cold if he doesn't try to pull that guillotine, which is why it's almost as if there's some holy martial arts spirit just willing Jiri Prochazka to get through these moments. And it's like fate that Yuri is going to be the best fighter, period. He'll always be the champion. So you never really know what's going to happen with Yuri. He's a wild man, and if Jamal Hill doesn't make easy work of Jiri Prochazka, and if Jiri Prochazka doesn't flatline Jamal Hill, this is going to be the best fight of the year without a doubt. And who do you guys think is going to win? Until next time.
Congratulations. I'm coming. I'm coming!